Elevated TV radio. We dare to lead.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Friday edition of the Sports Buffet on Elevated TV Radio. My name is Idafe Matthias. You're going to love to come with the Elevated One of Sports. Yeah, it's a lovely time to be alive. As I always say, there is always a reason why you're alive. Find that reason, and then every other thing that is happening around you will not really bother you because once you have purpose, you are driven. But when you don't have purpose, everything is frustrating, stressful, and tiring very, very fast. Everything goes from 0 to 100 very fast in the negative way. It's like somebody who have a job and have to wake up by 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning because they have a job. It is easy to do, but somebody who doesn't have a job, tell them to wake up that early. It's a problem. So it's something you should always think about. What is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? What's the thing that I'm doing that I'm not doing? What is the work that I'm supposed to do that I'm not doing? You always have to find that because once you find purpose in life, every other thing seems to be very easy, smooth, and nice. Well, you know how the Friday edition of the show really is. Anything goes, ask any question, go in within sports, within football, outside of football, everywhere, and we go there. Like I always say, I'm obligated to respond to you. This is radio like no other radio. Like we always say on a you know playoff line, we're a different type of radio. We're an online radio, we're community radio, we're family radio, but at the same time, we're global radio. It's not a show off, it's just true. We are a radio that you can hear anywhere in the world, wherever you are, you can hear us. Yes, it doesn't matter whether you're in Warri like Emmanuel Yurokiri or you're somewhere in the US or like Chikadibia, you are somewhere around the globe or you're in Dubai, you are in Kyrgyzstan or Azerbaijan or Russia, even in Ukraine where the bombs are going off. If you tune in, download the mobile application Elevated TV Radio on your Android or your iOS and you can hear us. And then if you want to watch the Sports Buffet, you can listen on the app, listen on the website, www.elevatortv.com/radio. You can also see on the Elevator One Instagram page. You can also see it on the YouTube channel. Yeah, today is the day to play. Like I said, you can ask any question. I would answer. Ask any question. I would answer. Somebody wrote me a long message yesterday that it's been long. I allowed the viewers and the listeners to ask any question that they want to ask. I should give that chance. And somebody else again wrote me a mail and said, let me see, hey, hi, Daffy, how are you? How you doing? Good. I like what you're doing. If I don't watch your show live, I always go back to watch. I hardly comment, but I enjoy your show, and I always click on the like button. I'm subscribed, and I press select the notification so I get notified whenever your show is running. Thank you very much. There, Mr. Louis is his name. Thank you very much, Mr. Louis. And he said, you said you don't do morning devotion. The other time you said you don't go to church, and now you don't do morning devotion. What kind of guy are you? But you talk more about God. You use the scripture more than any other person. So I'm confused about you. I really need to understand you better. Okay, you're not going to understand me. Mr. Lewis, you're not going to understand me. But then you talked about mentoring and teaching people, and you said you don't do it for free anymore. And for 3 months, you charge between 300 to 500,000. How do you do it? When you gain admission into school, you will get the syllabus, the curriculum, the learning, the teaching scheme, and everything. When you don't have the admission, nobody give you all that. Am I lying? I've got Joy Bassi in the building. Joy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. The people are not hearing you. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
And your mom, your sister, cousins, and everybody around?
Not fine.
All right. Before I come back to the people, today is Friday anyway. They say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. I don't know what that means because I thank God for every single day. All right. Every day is important for me. Every day gives me joy. Every day that I'm alive gives me joy. And my son, my little boy was dressed. Okay, so since he had his surgery in February, he's always wanted to be a doctor. He's always, I'll be a doctor. Every time I'm in pain, I'll take you to the hospital and I will cut out your pain. I'll cut out anything. So today for career day, he was dressed as a surgeon. I've never seen him that happy. God, the boy was over the moon. Like the joy is unspeakable. Little boy, next month will be 4 years anyway. But I always say little 4 year old. Man, that kind of joy is something you can't explain anyway. But let's start with you. Jabasi, what's on the gentle side of gossip? I know I don't do gossip that much anyway, but there should be a lot of things from your end. So what do you have for us?
We have a lot of things happening, like Jerry Williams, an actor near Nigeria, who was suspended for like drug abuse and this thing. So no, was suspended by the Actors Guild.
Actors Guild.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was suspended. So no more to recover. That's what they said.
But he can do his own short movies and put it on YouTube and on Instagram and Twitter, right? He can use social media. This actor some time ago they suspended Genevieve and Genevieve became a bigger star. So these are suspension. But for drug, I mean that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and go against them.
And yeah. And we also have this one of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
I don't understand those two people. Well, rich people, like I always say, I don't like to get involved in rich people's drama because sometimes it seems like they are bored and they're like, okay, we're bored, let's do something.
That's how it really looks like because right now they know that the Italian Colosseum has contacted them for the fight. I'm like,
They should come and fight in Lagos National Stadium. Set it up, send some money. Let's set the National Stadium up for them, and then they should come and fight. Unfortunately, they will not consider that. But I think we should just this type of thing. I think it's just a thing to jump on trend. So it should be official. Like the sports commission should just write a letter to them officially inviting them to come and use the National Stadium Lagos and then different states. For me, that's what I would do. I'm not saying everybody should do what I would do, but that's what I would do on this type of trend because it's for fun. I'll just jump on it and I would say, "Oh, this is what is trending. Okay, let's do it." I would just want to do it. It doesn't like this Saudi Arabia thing now. If I'm like Nigerian club like Enyimba, Remo Stars, Plateau United, Rivers United, I'll just be bidding for some players like all them Hakim Ziyech, all them Victor Osimhen, Judo Gallo. I'll just be bidding for them. Not like we will get them, but it will just put you in the news. Imagine hearing that Enyimba is bidding for Messi. Enyimba wants to give Messi a 3 month contract, right? Or a 6 months contract. Just put it out there. The conversation alone will make a lot of people that who the hell are Enyimba? Who is Enyimba? Where are they? There'll be a lot of talking points. There'll be a lot of drag towards them. And for me, it's good. There's never a bad publicity in all of this. Like Davido getting people pregnant, it's good publicity. I don't know anyway. But what are the other things that are happening?
As you said, you're talking about going to space. It's officially confirmed the first commercial space flight was a success. So there will be more in the future.
I think I will need to look for money. I want to go to space. So I want to go to space. I know it's $500,000 right now to go to space, and it's very expensive. But let's not forget that last year or 2 years ago, some people paid $50 million to go to space. Some people paid $250,000 to go and die underwater. I think I would like. Again, I was telling my wife, say, what if you go there and die? Wouldn't that be a good thing to die and be buried in space? That does make sense. Like, that's like my family went to Guinness Book of Record. He died and was buried in space. Whereas, so what do you think? Like, when I am 80, 90 years old, I just pay and I go to space and I die there and they bury me there.
I'm not sure they will allow you to enter at that age.
No, if I see when you have money, anything is possible. When you have money.
No, it's plenty money.
Yeah, if you have plenty money. And that's why I'm working hard now. That's why I'm doing everything to make plenty money. I don't want to be old and be waiting for my children to send me check at the end of the month. It doesn't really it doesn't really go well. It doesn't always go well. Okay, so do we have any other thing again to check up?
Yes, Madonna. She was recently sick. She
Oh,
was
my
rushed.
crush back in the day. My
Yeah,
sugar mommy.
yeah. She was rushed to the hospital. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, she was found unresponsive. But now she's doing better, but she's still not in a top shape.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
God,
let's pray for
please.
her health.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Now we don't have to cry for her anyway. She's told us a long time ago. The whole Argentina, now the whole world, don't cry for her. So we will not cry for her, but let's just wish that she still gets better. But hey, people like Madonna, they've lived the life. They lived the life. They didn't just exist like a store. They lived the life, and it's a wonderful thing. Is that all we've got?
We have one sad story like from France. A boy was shot. They now raised them. People now protesting, which is violent protests to say for the boy's death, which is very sad.
Well, at least in France, people still protest and get surprised when they are shot. Now in America, people don't get surprised when they are shot anymore. They just see it as part of life. Uh, 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 my younger brother say, my younger brother say, make I lock up that space, die matter. Or say we go tie you down. I'm coming. Well, good to good. Yes, I had good to the families that their boy, their son was shot, and we hope that overzealous policemen don't get too overzealous. Subsequently, shoot somebody else, and so that we don't get into a world where people are used to killing people, 9 bullets in the back of someone like they do in
Accidental
America.
shot and everything.
America will not be accidental. Somebody was using long blower, grass blower to blow grass, and the neighbor shot him. That the
America.
thing is making too much noise. Americans love for gun and their desire to use it. And then people like, oh, yo, God, good. Yeah, you know what would invest me? They'll get the American visa, they'll come social media, I'll go church, go give Thanksgiving. Like I'm always amazed though. I don't know, maybe I'm different, I'm created differently. But why do people go to church? Again, those are some of the things that irritate. I don't go to church anymore, but when I used to go to church, those are the things that irritate me in church. You don't come to church. Oh, I've been applying for visa for the past 10 years. Finally, you decrease. Why are you disturbing me with your nonsense? For me, it smacks of stupidity because I don't know. I don't know if there's an American who gets a Nigerian visa and is celebrating. What the hell is wrong with you, my friend?
Getting a visa is a thing of joy now. The thing
Thing
of
of joy, keep it in your house. That's not you didn't deliver any more baby. Your son did not graduate from school. And those are some of the things you can celebrate. If someone become a doctor, you know he's going to go save life. It's still not joy to get a visa to America. You know what? I go do hook on drug, go do for one, I go do prostitution, go be homeless, go be arm robber. All right, back your face and let's come back to sports and everything in between. It's Friday. Like I promised yesterday, we're going to take this stretch it up to 10:30. But unfortunately, I'm expected to be live on New Central from 10:30. So we're going to take it up to like 10:20, 10:25, and then we'll sign up. Sign off. Let me. What's the question I wanted to? No, I ask you off air. Not that's not for everybody. So let's come back to talking sports, guys. First off, let's focus on some of the transfer gist today. Now, when I get the show, if I like it, more I not get involved. That's why I go there. I go just sign out. I'll play music. When I know me, even when I get boss, when I go report to, I know send. I mean, I'm the boss now. I just realized I'm the boss now. Yeah, in those days they used to threaten me. Hey, Daffy, I will report you to your boss. I was like, who be this one? Who be my boss? I got boss. Even my boss, if you hear me. The person where you want to report me to, so if you hear me. God, I beg you. Nigerians are power play. Remember one guy threatened me. Do you know who I am? How can you say that about me? And not true, I thought. Not because I lie. I said the truth about him. It's like, how can you say that? You want to prove that you're the only journalist that know? Blah, 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 blah. I will call your boss. Your boss is my boy. I will call him and he will fire you. I say, go call her. Go and call him. That Mumu boss he be if he fire me because of your nonsense complaint. I don't know if he called him anyway because nobody ever called me and said anything. But it's the Nigerian people like to report. People like report you to your boss. Anybody go call me one day to report my worker to me, you would know. And you will know yourself. You will hear from me. If I not sue you for disturbing me. Well, let's talk about transfer a bit and see how it goes. Aston Villa have agreed a 35 million pounds deal to sign Spain defender Pau Torres. This Pau Torres have been linked to different English clubs since he was 19. Finally, is coming. Okay, Spanish players have come to the Premier League. I think one day I would need Timothy then, but or what's it called? Um, Omosue, Precious Omosue, to do an X-ray of Spanish players that have come, the ones that have excelled, the Fernando Torres of this world who have two parts, the one matter who have multiple parts, the Pedros, Kepa Arrizabalaga, what's the other one again? David De Gea. David De Gea is a Spanish goalkeeper, right? Yeah, it's a Spanish goalkeeper. There's one name that I'm forgetting now. All the Spanish players that have come, the ones that have done well and the ones that have failed. Italian players too, the ones that came in and did well, and then the ones that failed. But I don't think that there is any Italian player that have performed better than a certain little Italian called Gianfranco Zola. You guys who were old schools will remember him from 1994 World Cup, where he and Iguavon had that tough tussle, substituted in, and he was given a red card. But he played still beat Nigeria with 10 men anyway. Let's move on. Netherlands defender Jurrien Timber, 22, is set to undergo a medical with Arsenal after they agreed an initial fee of 22 million euros, which is 36.2 million. But that fee could rise up to 40.2 million eventually. So there is still an opening for, because of performance and trophies won and all that, incentives based. There's an additional 4 million that Ajax can collect. Somebody sent me a very long question about Jurrien Timber, and I think I did the best deep dive that I could do that is available for me. And I spoke to my friend in the Netherlands who lives in Amsterdam, who's kind of like work with Ajax, a freelance media guy, but work with Ajax directly, and he gave me a whole lot of insight into him and some other friends of mine, and helped me also to get some very, very fantastic information. And I think eventually I would answer that question, Mr. Liu. I would respond to your question on Jurrien Timber, the man of timber and caliber. But I can confidently tell you that he's not a bad player. The guy asked me if he's a world-class player. Those are comments that I had to use. How can you use a player that is 22 years of age and be asking if he's world-class? What has he done? What has he achieved? What consistency has he put on the plate for us to even have that kind of conversation? But does he have the potential to be world-class? He does have a potential. I don't know about world-class. I mean, we will see. We will see. That's all I can say. But players have come from the Dutch league and come to Arsenal and risen up to world-class level. Players like Marco Vermaas, players like Robbie Van Persie, Dutch league. And then there are those who have come also who went from high expectation to rubbish. Players like Thomas Vermaelen, who came in and everything. He can score goal. Come, you're a defender. You know they defend. They say he can score goal. They do sign a striker and play him in defense. Okay, well, we would get to know. West Ham are still waiting for Arsenal to present an acceptable payment plan for the 105 million purchase of England midfielder Declan Rice 24. Now, this one, let me explain a bit. When they said Manchester United, Man City, and Arsenal are in the chase, West Ham had the power, the right to do shakara. But unfortunately, they've lost that right now because it's only Arsenal that they have. And they've also given the go-ahead for Declan Rice to go and do his medical. Now, that doesn't mean another club cannot come in and snag, because what it means is there is still a window, a back door that is open. It's like when you build a website and then there is a back door that is open that people can use to put virus and attack it. That's exactly what this is. So there is a back door that is open that somebody can come and say, you know what, this money that Arsenal is offering you, we're going to give you this, and then double up the salary for on top of the salary that Arsenal wants to pay. He can turn his head. So I think that Arsenal should go sit down and say, you know what, we can't, since West Ham saying they don't want 20 million every year for 5 years, okay, let's give you this, let's give you that, let's push it up a bit and see. Because again, if you drag this for too long, it become a protracted transfer conversation that will not be too good. And I don't think the way Arsenal started, they need to put themselves in that, because it's really going to be disappointing. Declan Rice was their main target. They've gotten him now. The player have done his bit also of saying, okay, West Ham, accept this money, let's do business. I want to go. And now we're talking of jersey number. He still wants to wear jersey number 41. He still want to continue like that traditionally. He feels he will not play well if he doesn't get the jersey number 41. Well, I think that's an excuse anyway, just cooking up excuse so that eventually, if he doesn't perform well, we'll say it's the number. I think Arsenal should also give him the number 41. You guys can tell me what you think. Should Arsenal give him number 41 or give him the number 4 or number 6 or number whatever jersey that is available, from the players that are going to leave? What number do you think he should be given? Maybe they should give him Thomas Partey's number 5. Okay, Chelsea are pushing for an agreement with Brighton over the signing of Moises Caicedo, with the Ecuadorian midfielder who's 21 years of age, having already agreed personal terms. That deal, as far as I'm concerned, is already a done deal. So the opportunity for Arsenal to come back for him is not there. But I think that, I don't know, but I keep saying this, I think Arsenal should go and sign for Fofana from Monaco. He's 40 million, he's cheap, and he's a good player. Not a great, I'm not using the word great, but he's a good player that could grow up to become a great player as well. Bayern Munich French defender Lucas Hernandez, 27, is on the cusp of a transfer to Paris St-Germain. And Paris St-Germain France are not happy with him because he played for Olympique de Marseille before. And they're reminding him that we know your history, we know your DNA, we will come for you. If you play badly, especially against Marseille, we know that you're doing match fixing. But if you come here, you have to earn our love and our respect. I think he's a good player. He eventually will earn their love and respect anyway. But the fans have made it clear, yes, we're not going to jump over the hill like monkeys that see banana and begin to make noise. We would wait for you to impress us. If you don't impress us, not good enough. Well, Paris Saint-Germain, I can say, have not really had good fans. Their fans are hot and cold. They are bad weather fans that today they are supporting you, tomorrow they are against you. I just hope that they do well. Well, Celta de Vigo Spanish midfielder Gabriel Veiga, 21, as Viagra, has been identified by Chelsea as the ideal replacement for Manchester-bound England midfielder Mason Mount. Again, let me say this. I think that Gabriel is a better player than Mason Mount, but Mount is an English player. Just maybe it will take time for Gabriel to settle in. England is not really a place that people struggle. Some people struggle to settle in. Some others do, but not everybody. Aston Villa are considering a loan move for Barcelona Spain winger Ferran Torres, 23, with a purchase option of 25 million euros. 21.5 million pounds is actually the money if you calculate it in pounds. Former England midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 27, is in Italy to finalize a permanent move from Chelsea to AC Milan, who will next target Chelsea's USA winger Christian Pulisic. Pulisic had never really did it for Chelsea anyway. Chelsea's Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku, 30, has rejected a second offer from Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal, worth 45 million pounds a year in salary, as the only wants to leave for Inter Milan. If he's not leaving Chelsea, he's going to stay. But if he's going to leave Chelsea, it has to be Inter Milan, not even AC Milan. Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is a target for Atletico de Madrid, and it seems like the new coach Ange Postecoglou does not fancy him as a player that he wants to play with. I think he's a good player, he's a good play breaker. But hey, who am I? Do I care about what happens at Spurs? And Spurs will be prepared to sell the 27-year-old Denmark international. England defender Eric Dyer's future is in question at Tottenham, as he only has 1 year left on his contract and has not signed an extension. But the 29-year-old who wants to fight for his place under new sports manager Ange Postecoglou. Let's hope that he gets a regular playing time and Spurs does not whip him out. Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, and Bayer Leverkusen are interested in Sheffield United, England under 20 forward Daniel Jebison. I don't know what they're saying, but their scout might have seen something good that make them to say, okay, let's buy this player. For Dortmund, I know it's always about business. They buy them cheap and then sell them heavily. The money they make from sales is even more important than winning the Bundesliga or the DFB Pokal. Manchester United and Chelsea are both interested in Aston Villa Argentine goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez, who's 30 years of age. About time. I think it's about time he start playing for some top club. I'm not saying Bordeaux, Gucci, and Co. and Aston Villa is not a top club, but hey, you can't measure them up with Manchester United or Chelsea. Even though Chelsea are beginning to look like Aston Villa, or Aston Villa is now looking more like Chelsea. I don't know. Okay. Manchester United manager Eric Ten Hag has blocked English keeper Tom Heaton 37 from moving to Luton Town amid continued uncertainty over the future of Spanish keeper David De Gea, who is 32, 37 years, 32 years. I don't know. The drama in Manchester, the devil is really there. Wilfred Zaha will become a free agent on Friday, which is today, but the Ivory Coast 430 remains in dialogue with Crystal Palace, so could agree a new deal. His former deal is £200,000 a week. Crystal Palace pays £200,000 a week for Wilfred Zaha. Arsenal's Portugal left back Nuno Tavares 23 is the subject of interest from West Ham. Please come and buy the player who have a very disgusting attitude. So good player, great talent, great potential, but bad attitude. Okay, reminds me of a certain Guendouzi. Okay, great talent, potential. He wasn't even at the World Cup, but his attitude, he has time in his hand, so he could change. Arsenal have succeeded in convincing English midfielder Ethan Waneri 16. How can your name be Waneri and they say you are English midfielder? Okay, to commit his future to the club, despite interest from Chelsea, Manchester City, and Manchester United. Brazil's 31-year-old forward Roberto Firmino, who left Liverpool after his contract expired, has agreed a deal to join Saudi Arabia Pro League side Al Ali. Okay, Borussia Dortmund moved for Ajax midfielder Edson Alvarez is the guy who plays the number 6 or number 4 defensive midfield position for Ajax, has stalled, and that could open the door for West Ham to try to sign the 25-year-old Mexico international. Fine player. I watched him play a couple of times. I think I like him. Dortmund played against him in the Champions League this season. It was good. Had a good game multiple times. Roma manager Jose Mourinho is eyeing a double swoop for Leicester City for Nigerian striker Kelechi Iheanacho 26 and Zambia forward Patson Daka 24. Leicester's former England striker Jamie Vardy 36 has rejected interest for Saudi Arabia side Khalid FC. Okay, Daniel Farke, remember him? That funny coach that have a funny face, okay, that looks like he's smiling even when he's frowning, is on the brink of becoming the new Leeds United manager, with the club hoping to have the German in place for the start of preseason training next week. Okay, preseason wants to start next week now. We'll start hearing some funny result, friendly matches and all that. Back in the day, preseason used to be a club goes into the mountains, goes some hidden places, backside of nowhere, and really do some real tough training. Today, preseason is not exhibition. You go and play one exhibition game in Australia. You go to USA to play some exhibition game. Then you fly to China. Life has changed though. Life has changed. I remember back in the day what preseason really meant, but it's different now. Former Crystal Palace manager and former Arsenal captain, French player, World Cup and Europe winner Patrick Vieira has emerged as a favorite to become boss of League One side Strasbourg. Remember, Strasbourg is also the club that the new Chelsea owners wants to buy to spread their football franchise tentacles, just like the City, Manchester City people. And let's not forget that some documents have come out to show that in 2012-2013 season, Man City collected money from a private individual and he claimed it was sponsorship money. And now there's a probe on that. That probably might lead to a ban. I don't know what that means anyway in footballing terms, because if all those laws are applied in Nigeria, almost every club in Nigeria they go ban them because I know many clubs when they won't go play match, then they borrow money from anybody and it doesn't mean anything. But what is the deal if I collect money from somebody to run my business? If I don't have money and I need money, would you rather I bankrupt because I don't have money? I don't understand what the rules are anyway, but hey, it's funny because Roman Abramovich, for instance, the way he spends money on his club, if Roman Abramovich call his friend and say, "Oh, guy, give me 1 billion," and he spends it on the club back in the day when he was still the owner of Chelsea, would anybody have raised an eyebrow? Well, I don't know. It's City. And for the record, this things happened before Pep Guardiola came. When they won their first title, that was 2012-2013 season. That was when it happened. I just hope that they get it sorted and they stop dragging the club because it's a rising club in England. And I understand. English people just act very weird and funny in my estimation. One hand, with one side of their mouth, they tell you Saudi Arabia money, Arab money is human trafficking money, slave labor money. But half of England, all the investment, Canary Wharf, this one, that one. Some of the most expensive real estates in England are all owned by Arab people. Qatar is not good. Qatar is not good. David Beckham, an Englishman, collected 150 million to be an ambassador of the Qatar World Cup. And majority of the construction work going on in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia have been done by English companies. The ammunitions that they sell to Arab people are sold from English and American people. So I'm wondering, that's okay, what kind of hypocrisy? Now, this one, skit makers, they say, not be juju with this. It's kind of like strange how it is. Anyway, if you have a say on it, you can let me know. But let's come to you guys now. It's 30 minutes gone. My part of the show is done, so it's your partner. Let's start with you. Jurrien Timber say, looking good, bro. Bingo, bro, Redo. Yeah, the Vine, okay, say Chelsea is cashing out big time. Todd and Egbali are really doing the deal. Meanwhile, Ziyech want to spoil the show by failing his medical. If you ask me, he should just do his carryover there. Well, now that we look at it from this angle, could this be the reason why his transfer didn't work in January when everybody was lying that it was computer, fax machine, and all that? Because I said that time, I remember saying on this show that I suspect that that's not possible. How can you send a fax and it didn't deliver? And then, it was just something that I didn't get at the time. And I guess maybe it's this injury to the knee, this damage to the knee, that is the problem. Okay. Divine Toko said, my club just need Caicedo and Osimhen, and we are quite good. Okay. What's your club? Chelsea, right? Okay. Tosi Iluyomade says, thank God it's Friday. Yes, thank God it's Friday. So anything goes. Let's hear it for you guys. Lukman Adebayo say, oh, great. There is an app for Elevated TV radio. Yes, there's been an app since forever. I'll tell you the best radio app right now in the world. Jurrien man, I say, bros, waiting be your take on Ziyech. I don't think I have any stake, but I think he had a good World Cup. He had a great World Cup. And sometimes you could sign a player with injury. Manchester United signed Ruud van Nistelrooy with injury. Arsenal signed Robbie Van Persie with injury. Sometimes you can sign players with injury and you look like, okay, we can give him the treatment that he needs. We could do the surgery and he can get better. But Hakim Ziyech is not younger. Okay, so those other players were signed when they were younger. So that could also be an Abidjan. But I think that if they're not able to sell it, then he would have to stay. He would have to stay at Chelsea, sit on the bench. This new coach is going to be different. Reminding me, Adebayo sent me a question. Adebayo says, Idafe, looking at Mauricio Pochettino at Chelsea, what do you think the team is lacking that he will bring to the team? And I know that you're not a fan of Mauricio Pochettino, but objectively, just give me your opinion as I respect it a lot. Okay, Adebayo, let me say this. I think that what Chelsea really lacked last season was the cohesiveness to play as a single unit, to play as a team. When you look at Man City, they play as a team and then they have a purpose. They know what they were chasing and they know how to rotate the team. And anybody that wasn't following the line, like you saw with Jack Cancelo, they had to kick him out. Okay, and Pep Guardiola come out to say there was no way he was going to stay. He was always going to go because of the attitude. It wasn't in line, in sync with what they want. So that was a unit. Arsenal also, as thin as the squad was, there was a purpose behind their play. Like, one, we will not let what happened the previous season, failing on the last day to make the top four happen. And we're going to make the top four. But beyond that, they now start shooting beyond their weight, right? Punching beyond their weight, which is good in terms of the success ladder. There's not such thing as over success. If they had won the league, it would have been a great one, a great story. Like I said last season, that if they had won the league, that would have been the greatest success of the Arsenal era. I would have rated it even higher than the unbeaten season. Not everybody agree with me, but that's my take on it. So, Adebayo, what I'll say to you is, Mauricio Pochettino, if given the chance, the free rein to do his thing, knows how to web players together and get them to do what he wants. He did it with Espanyol in Spain. He did it with Tottenham Hotspur, even without transfer. But would the Americans, Todd Boehly and Egbali or whatever, that's those guys, would they give him the free rein? They tried it with Potter. They also tried it with Frank Lampard. If they keep that tradition going and give him the free rein, it might be good. Now, to your second question, what do I think they will achieve this season? I don't see Chelsea, no matter who they sign, Chelsea will not win the league. That one is off the conversation. There is Carabao Cup, there is FA Cup. I don't know, they are not in any other competition now. They finished 12th. So they could win the Carabao Cup, they could win the FA Cup, because now they would treat the Carabao Cup like it's a Champions League. They'll play their senior players there, while other people are still fielding young players. They would easily get all the way to the quarterfinals. And between quarterfinals and finals is just 2 games. Okay, there's after the quarterfinals, you get to the semi-finals and finals. So it's something that is possible to win. And the thing about winning is that it brings a certain kind of mentality into the team that makes them feel, oh, we can win, we can win. And once you have that going for you, it's good. Well, I hope I've answered your question on that one, Mr. Adebayo. And I hope you're listening or you're watching, or probably you'll watch later. Let's move further down the road. Currently, Timothy say, good morning, Legote. What do you think about Luis Enrique coming to PSG? How long will it take him to win the UCF for them? Damn, that's a very, the second part of your question is a very complicated and difficult one. It's not, so Paris Saint-Germain does not have a team right now. Before you start predicting how long it will take, and I know, okay, I've done that with Liverpool, with Man United, but you look at the French league, it doesn't give you the balance to even create a pattern. They were in the finals of the Champions League 2 seasons ago. They lost it, and is it 2 seasons ago? 2 seasons ago, yeah, because that 1 season is also ended. They lost it. That was good, but then they came back this season, and the team is disoriented. Let's first off, I don't think that Luis Enrique is a bad coach. He won the treble with Barcelona. Didn't do too well with the national team, but I think at club level, you cannot fault him. Having said that, winning the Champions League, if that's the primary target for Paris Saint-Germain, they will need to do well. From where they stand right now, it will take a 5 years project for them to win the Champions League. Would Luis Enrique still be there 5 years from now? That's the one thing that I don't know. No matter who they sign this season, they can't win the Champions League. The Champions League is not that easy, okay? First off, let me also remind everybody that the Champions League does not admit new winners all the time. It takes time. Between 1990 and now, I think there are only 3 teams that are the new teams that have won the Champions League. Maybe Olympique de Marseille, Chelsea, and then Manchester City. If my memory serves me right, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe there's one other one that I'm missing out on right now, but 3 clear new teams between that time and now. If not, it's a repeat of old winners, former winners that come on. I was telling somebody the other day that there is a higher chance of Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa winning the Champions League before Arsenal. Not because they are better than Arsenal, but because the Champions League have created a pattern and a tradition that it honors former winners more than new winners. Having said that, that's why Atletico Madrid, Valencia, Leverkusen, all this team got all the way to the finals, and one or the other, they didn't win it. Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal, just to name a few. Having said that, you look at Paris Saint-Germain, they are first off they are dissembling now, but Messi's gone. They are hawking Neymar, looking for Bayern. Why they're looking for Bayern for Neymar? Neymar is inheriting wealth of strangers in Brazil. Emmanuel said he'd rather give his word to Neymar than to give to family members who never cared about him. That's a different conversation for another day. I think that Mbappe, it's neither here nor there. Even if he stays this season, by January, he will sign a pre-contract with Real Madrid or any other club, and it will go. All those talk of Liverpool wanting to sign him, that's not going to happen. Liverpool does not have that kind of money. Liverpool cannot pay 250 million to sign any player and then begin to pay the player about 800,000 pounds a week. Now that club, Liverpool will go into division, will go to administration. In short, Remo Stars will buy them, will take them over. Okay, so let's not even have that conversation. So let's say hypothetically, he stays between this is July, starting tomorrow, July to December, 6 months. By January, we'll sign a contract with Real Madrid to go there next summer. That is, if he doesn't move this window, I don't think Madrid would also stupidly want to pay that much money to let him go. And then again, Mbappe knows that if he stays to the end of his contract, he's entitled to a 250 million euro bonus. Why would he want to even move? He will stay to the end. So FC Porto, somebody just reminded me of FC Porto. Have FC Porto not won the Champions League before Jose Mourinho won it with them? I think they've won it before. Maybe it's Benfica. Okay, so you look at all of that and say the review properly will start next season, not even this season. And then they have to start with defenders, midfielders, then they go to attackers. And now that team needs like 3 years to gel together to begin to say, okay, now we're chasing the Champions League. But while doing all that, it needs to still consistently win the cup and the league in France. So I don't know if Luis Enrique will be there in 5 years' time, but whoever wants to coach Paris Saint-Germain to go win Champions League does not have the ingredients to win it now. It will have 5 years for that to happen. Is Luis Enrique the man? I don't know. It's down to the management to decide, okay, we want to keep him for that long. Would they be able to keep him for that long? That's their own cost. Emmanuel Enrique said rich people are not crazy. They are eccentric. I agree. If the poor men, them go say, them decrease. Yes, I agree with you on that one. Kiri Emmanuel say, bros, okay, no, I think I've read that one before. Can't time me down. I want to go, I will go if I have the money. Delara said the receiver of Man City as well. Delara, I think transfer so far has average for me. No one has done too good or too bad. Arsenal have done good, though. Even though all the players are not really coming through the door. But if you go by Arsenal's tradition, they've done good. Chelsea's tradition as well, they've done good in terms of the speed at which they've offloaded the players that they need to let out. The number of players that have left Chelsea, before we blink like this, players have gone. It's like Tinubu putting people under DSS arrest. It's very, very fast. Okay, and the list of players that were leaving Chelsea was as long as Tinubu's convoy as well yesterday. Okay, Tosi Iluyamade says a serious Shoku did this Lukaku head. What what a terrible sport. You know, Tosi want to say if he is that good, then Inter should be willing to break back for him. No, Ashawo player romancing Ashawo club. Hey, Jesus Christ. PS Mobile with Dave. It says, good morning, bros. Good morning to you. Off topic though, but I want to ask a question. I don't know if you saw what Eniola Aluko said on Talk Sports concerning the Rice Day. Please, if you do, I would love to hear your take on it. I think that how you should go about it is I said it first, and then Eniola came in to confirm it. So 2 weeks ago, when I first said that what Arteta would do with this Rice deal is to use his connection at Man City to convince them to come into the race. Because what was holding the race at the time was the fact that what's his name? Kroenke have not sanctioned 100 plus payments. So Edu was negotiating with the money that they have, like the transfer, the bill that they have, and they wanted the deal to go through. So I said they would beg, Arteta would beg, Pep Guardiola to talk to his people. My people talk to your people, where people should understand it, and then they would switch lane and come into the conversation, and then eventually pull out. And a lot of people were not happy with me that I said that. Once somebody actually tweeted at me and said the corruption in Nigeria is making me think that that's how everybody thinks. Okay, good. So Eniola came up and said when she was the technical director at the club, she did that a lot. Not even once, she did that a lot. And she also said that it's not just her, it's something that almost everybody does. So it is not clear that it happens. Because sometimes in Nigeria, once you're a Nigerian person and you are here with them, you say anything, they say, what are you saying? You don't know anything. So this is my answer to your question. That thing is not new. Clubs use it. A club wants to sell a player, but the club that is coming maybe is offering a certain amount. The club would tell their loyal media people to sponsor a story that another unknown or unnamed club is putting in a bid of XYZ number. That number will be close to the number that the club is hoping to sell their player, so that this club that is interested will not raise it up. And sometimes people fall for it. Sometimes some people don't fall for it. So it's a general gimmick and manipulation in the transfer market, in football business, that works sometimes in your favor and sometimes it works against you. Remember when Paris Saint-Germain wanted Neymar, the first offer they made was 120 million. 120 million euro, and the buyout clause was 222 million euro. Barcelona now claimed that there is a club that Madrid wants to sign him and wants to pay the buyout clause. And then they were going to extend his contract and put 850 million on the buyout, which was not true anyway. But they used that one to put Paris Saint-Germain under pressure. And before you could say Jack Robinson, Paris Saint-Germain had come to pay the entire buyout of his contract. So these things happen everywhere in football. It's not something new. It's not. Is it illegal? No. Is it wrong? No. It's just part of the industry. Some of the things that spices the industry up. Don't forget that it is business, right? So sometimes you've got to shake the tree for the apples to fall. Not every time you put your basket on the ground, an apple just fall on it. So it's a shake-up system. Even though Simon Jordan did not agree with Eniola Aluko, but the question is, Simon Jordan like Piers Morgan, who do they ever agree with? They only agree with themselves. But I agree with Eniola Aluko on that one. The other one just say, why does Arsenal always foot drag on their top transfer? This is Arsene Wenger spirit that they revoking again. No. I think Arsenal have changed from the Arsene Wenger era. Yes, there's still more improvement to do. But again, in business, I don't really want to fault Arsenal on this. Not everything require fault in Arsenal. I think that what they are doing is, this is a transaction that they feel they have control over. They have like full control over, and they can manipulate it whithersoever they want to. So it's not something that they want to rush. One, the player is on their side. And I know that the fans are always tensed up, like, oh, let this thing go, especially knowing that Moises Caicedo is going to go to Chelsea. Arsenal will not be running against time. What happened with Mikhailo Modric and Rafinha and the rest of them? But the truth of the matter is, in this deal, Arsenal feel a certain sense of control, like we're in charge. As my able brother would say, I don't know, but the way that with this one, we are in control of this one. There is not one person that's going to come from anywhere, which is it's also possible that it can be hijacked. But for now, Arsenal are like top of the range on this conversation, and so they are looking at it from, okay, we don't want to agree to something that would affect our financial fair play. The reason they are spreading 100 million payment over 5 years is amortization help your financial fair play, because what it actually means is that if you sign that deal, that transfer goes through, and they agree on 20 million payment every year, it means that Declan Rice was actually signed for 20 million, not 100 million. By the books, that's what it means. Again, that's another part of transfer business that you need to know. It means that this year, you can only record 20 million against Declan Rice. So in financial fair play, in the news, you will hear Arsenal pay 105 million. But in this season's financial outlay, this book, it's 20 million. That gives them room, because again, I think that the deal to bring Jurrien Timber is also going to be spread over 3 seasons, from what I hear. And then the deal that brings the Chelsea player Kai Havertz is also going to spread over 3 or 4 seasons. So if you look at it carefully, Arsenal have not even spent up to 100 million for this season for 3 players that they are signing. From a business point of view, I like it. I don't have a problem with that. That's exactly what Todd Boehly exploited last season with all those 8-year spread of payment and the different arrangement. I think for me, it's a good deal. Push for it. When you can't get it, then you change the bargain. You might not like it, but that's what a fan does. A fan wants you go and pay all the money, and no, but business doesn't work like that. The structure of business doesn't work like that. I remember when I was under paid employment, I always want the management to do things the way I think it is. Now the table is turned, and sometimes my producer or my team will come up with an idea. And say, bros, let's do this, let's do that. Maybe Red Bull is doing an event. Let's go and do this, let's go and do that. I said, no. The only time you get me over the top is when you say, let's do something that is MPFL related. I think the MPFL has got a very strong hold on me. I am able to say no to that. Like, okay, you know where I find the money. If they just suggest it, I'm going with it. But all this, Red Bull is doing one thing. Hip Hop Award is going on. When they're doing one thing in the hotel, bros, yeah, we need 150,000 to take this one, do that one. I'm looking at them like, I don't decrease. When you don't finish, how many views will get? How much money will I get from it? My friend, get out of my front. But if it is MPFL, I just spent 4.7 million this season traveling around Nigeria without any hope of say this thing will bring a return. But like Oga Hariwala tell me, say keep doing what you're doing. One day you will harvest it. So I will keep doing what I'm doing. The day when I don't see food shop, I'll go your house. I carry my family go your house. He go in a strong man too for the system. He go help me out. That's all I can say right now on that front. But for the fans, you just want to hear that your club has gone for this player, 100 million, pay cash, my brother. Football business will be like that. Even go to Alaba market, they go bring goods. They say put that for store first. What will begin sell, we will pay you back. That's so they do one. So now the same thing, that business gimmicks, not be bad thing. European man say preseason is not all about the Benjamins. Yes, so it's about money because you pay players much. Back in the day, players get very little. Everybody's okay. Football was played for passion and emotion and tactics. Today, even the backroom staff is not more. It's not 200% more. You have people that are doing the analytics. It's a team, a whole team of about 15 to 20 people. You have teams that are doing your media. So there's a social media. Then there is a heavy media who create the real big content for commercial purpose. So there is a whole lot. And these days, almost every club are now becoming executive producer. They are executive producing their own content. It's not like, they are giving their content right to Amazon, Netflix, and the rest of it. What they do is we produce and we sell. Because if Netflix come to you and say we will bring our team to produce, what happens is Netflix they take the price, the bills. I mean, that's space, so I know. But if you produce and you put a good thing together, you have paid your workers, you can go to Netflix and say, this is what I have, or Amazon, this is what I have, and I want to sell it this way. I want to give it for 6 months on your platform, or I want to give it for 1 year on this platform, and then I take it to HBO, I take it to Paramount Plus, I take it to Amazon TV, I take it to YouTube TV. So you can run that continuously, and you keep getting royalty year after year after year after year, because you need to create multiple sources of income as a club, because the salaries now are over the top. Back in the day, I remember you hear that a club's wage bill is 25 million per annum. Like, that's their wage bill. Now you're hearing 250 million, 300, 400 million. My brother, you go work. You can't just sit back. You have to work. So that's exactly what they are doing. Olatunji Emmanuel say, with the way Man United is going, I won't be surprised if they don't make the top four, as their progress heavily lies on this ownership takeover. Yeah, I think the last line already answered your question. When the takeover is done, we cannot all sit back and say, oh, Man United will do this or will not do that. For now, I think that the more they delay, the lesser their chances of getting the players that they desire. And also the lesser the chances of them actually deciding what to do. Just like we saw with the David De Gea case, it's a very fishy situation. But hey, let's keep our fingers crossed. It is still Manchester United that we're talking about. Anything is possible. European man, I say, I not be Poch fan like that, because I still rate him as an average coach. I agree. But he be upgrade to Harry Potter and that cooler Lampard. Lampard historically is the only person in world football that has two legendary status. It's a legendary success for Chelsea as a player and a legendary failure for Chelsea as a manager. The only player in the world, the only human being in the world. While Zidane is a legendary player, success as player for Real Madrid, legendary coach, success for Real Madrid. But Frank Lampard have it both ways. He has the good and he has the ugly or the bad as well. It's the only guy. So let's show Frank Lampard some respect. Let's respect Frank Lampard a bit, because let's not just be talking to him anyhow. Nobody have it like that. As a Wenger also, as a coach, is legendary for being a top manager and being a caller at one club, Arsenal. Top manager for first 10 years, terrible manager for the last 12 years. Yeah. So everybody have their own side of their own Koboko in this conversation. The language says Porto was also a new winner in 2004. Okay. PES Mobile with Dave. He said, thanks. Okay, for my explanation. Is it Patrick? He said the way PSG are going, we might just be another Chelsea. I think it's hard. Chelsea is an act that is hard to follow. Chelsea followed the AC Milan path of 1986 to 1994. I don't think uh, PSG can, because there's a bit of arrogance to the way PSG go about their business. That is very strange. They just think that, oh, you know what is next for them is for them to buy the referees and buy the result. They're not really interested in putting up a structure. You look at Man City, as crazy as you would say Man City is, they built a stadium, they develop training centers, they have some of the best facilities. Kind of like when Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal in 1996. Okay, they put a structure down, and you see some of the young players that have come out of what's it called, Man City. If you go to Chelsea too, they also did like that. That 10 or 11 years that Menalo was at Chelsea before they let him go, I think it was one key element, one key component that they just lost like that. They also built a structure. Unfortunately, the reverse side for Chelsea, and that happens with many big clubs, so it's not a Chelsea problem, is that the whole structure around academy youth players, they've not known how to develop young players and fuse them into the senior team and give them a pathway to grow. Young players sadly grow at Chelsea after what's it called? The former captain, defender, was his name now, John Terry. It's been very difficult to see young players like you have with Arsenal, Ashley Cole, Cesc Fabregas, all of these, Danielson and the rest of them, find a pathway to grow and become successful at the club. It's very, very difficult with Chelsea. Also, at Man City, we're not seeing Phil Foden, we're seeing, what's the other guy? The guy that got Jack Cancelo angry. Rico Lewis and a few other young players getting the chance. It's going to take some time, but I don't think that Paris Saint-Germain is like that. Paris Saint-Germain does not have a developmental structure. They just feel like, if they see you doing something somewhere, they don't want to know whether you're now retired, you're old. In the case of Messi, Sergio Ramos, and the rest of them, they just brought them and say, oh, if you bring this guy, these are two killer Champions League winners, they will come and win it for us. The team was even worse. So they need to find a developmental part, a structure that creates a spine, a backbone for the team, and maybe they will go well. Is it Patrick say, bros, not PSG, but FSG, our owner. Oh, okay, FSG, that's what you said. Sorry, I thought it was PSG. My eyes. Sorry. Is it Patrick, with my battle relegation, if they continue like this? Why is everybody complaining in this transfer window? You got to trust the process. You got to be patient. Liverpool fans are not supposed to complain because FSG has really done well. It's not like Liverpool is one humongously successful club before FSG. Yes, they've been winning Champions League, but that's ancient history. The last, I think they won the last Champions League was 1987, then 2005 with Rafael Benitez. Other than that, they've been struggling, not won the league in 33 or so years, and then FSG came in, they won it. They won the Champions League. They played in three or two Champions League finals, one Europa League finals, and you guys are still complaining. Come on, that's not fair now. That's not right. I don't know. Jurrien Timber say, I see Harvard doing well at Arsenal with his slick play. I see another that is. This thing is an insult, Sha. This whole talk, and I've been hearing it since. It's a marketing gimmick. Everybody's saying, oh, what's it called? Is another Dennis Beckham. Kai Havertz, Dennis Beckham. I don't understand where you guys are getting that talk from. Like, where is it coming from? Dennis Beckham was European Footballer of the Year 1988. Dennis Beckham, that is the man as Rotimi Oloye. What is wrong with you guys? People should stop this comparison. Invest me. They pay me. Dennis Beckham is the greatest player to ever play for Arsenal in the history of that club. Leave all this Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira. Dennis Beckham is the guy. He's the greatest signing Arsenal ever signed. You compare Kai Havertz to Dennis Beckham. What did they bring? What did they bring all those? I beg. Let's not even talk. Quiet Storm 0102 said, bros, FSG no try at all. Oh. I don't understand. Doesn't Liverpool have a squad that can compete? Liverpool have a squad that can compete. They've signing midfielder. What do you? Okay, please, Eze Patrick and Quiet Storm. Tell me what exactly you are expecting from FSG that they have not done, and then we can probably uh, go through that conversation. Because right now it feels like I'm just trying to defend them for no reason. Please give me heads up on, okay, this is what they ought to have done and what they've not done. These are players that have been linked to the club that the club have not signed. Roberto Firmino has been let go, yes, but he wanted to go. He wanted more money. FSG does not have that kind of money to pay, because it's not just about giving him the money. It is what it will do to the chain. Because once you give him that money, the other players that are coming to the end of their contract will cite that as example. So if you can give it to him, then you can give it to us as well. After all, he sits on the bench, he come off the bench to come and play. So we want that kind of money. When that doesn't happen, what do? They are structured in such a way like they are the new Bank of England, like Arsenal. Arsenal used to be the Bank of England. Now Arsenal is spending. And then again, something that I wanted to point out yesterday that I didn't point out. Stan Kroenke, or Slow Stan, as people used to call it. Okay, is Kroenke Sports Entertainment (KSE) are the owners of the Denver Nuggets, the LA Rams, Colorado Avalanche. In addition, they have Arsenal FC, Arsenal Women, MLS Club, Colorado Rapids, and all that. But now let's look at them a little bit. The Nuggets, Denver Nuggets, have never won the NBA before. They just won it. They are the champions right now. The Rams, the LA Rams, who used to be somewhere else, and then they moved to the LA, and they built one of the best and the world's most expensive stadium, the Sophie Stadium, the $5.7 billion stadium, the Sophie Stadium. Also won the Super Bowl. Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, or the World Series, as they are called. Does it not see a pattern that very soon Arsenal will win the league and maybe go and win the champions? I'm laughing at myself. And maybe go and win the Champions League. But that's the pattern that they've created. Now that it is happening, everybody's excited. I remember very well how the Denver Nuggets were the laughingstock of everybody. How the Rams were also a laughingstock for everybody, just the same way the Colorado Avalanche were a laughingstock. And Arsenal have been a laughingstock since Silent Stan took over. I think that sometimes you guys need to be patient with these FSG people. This craze for instant glory, instant success by fans is also making it look like, oh, the owners don't know what they're doing. I know that in the case of Manchester United, what is bad is the debt profile. To be in debt to the tune of 960 million pounds, almost a billion, that's a terrible one. But I think that people should be patient. Not every club owner will be Roman Abramovich. And especially for people who have multiple business, they will find the balance. Okay, a family that have only one child, the way they buy toy and clothes for that child, it's not the same way a family that have 5 or 6 or 8 would buy. So when you see them buying toys and doing everything, going on vacation, don't come and put your parents under pressure, because if that family also have 8 children or 10 or 6, they will tighten their belt. So that's the same thing with some of these owners. Using one blanket to cover everybody, I don't think it really works in the case of football. Not everybody will be Silvio Berlusconi. Not everybody will be Roman Abramovich. Their ideologies, their style is good. But hey, in the reality of the world of money, if you have 6 clubs, you've got to bend and chop and prune and pick and choose the one you need to succeed the most. And as an American man, to be very honest, would it not be better for him to succeed in America? Charity begins at home. So charity have begun at home and they've succeeded there. They're going to come again. Liverpool is a bigger club now because of FSG. There are more investment, but then there are some things to do. I mean, they're the first people who thought it wise to expand the seats of the stadium. The first people who thought it wise to put the marketing beyond what it used to be. I don't think that blaming FSG is really a right one. Because if you look at their reign, I don't know any owner of Liverpool in the history of the club that have won or taken the club this high. The reason why Liverpool don't have, say, 4 titles right now is because Pep Guardiola happened to them. Pep Guardiola, you see, you don't understand how good Pep Guardiola is. Pep Guardiola happened to them, that's why. And that's exactly what has just happened to Arsenal. The performance of Arsenal this season is well enough to win the title any other season before Pep. Pre-Pep era, Arsenal are champions without a conversation. The only reason they are not champions is because of Pep. If Pep was around in 2016, I bet you Leicester will not win the league title. They go do all that till finish. They're not going to win the league title. So you also have to consider all of that for FSG, Jurgen Klopp, and the rest of them. And last season, injuries was not really fair to the team. Your strongest defender came back from an ACL. Go back and check the history of football. All the players that had ACL and came back and see if their performance were the same again. Things were never the same. So I don't think it is fair to just blame FSG. That's my opinion anyway, and I'm going to rest on that one. Steve Walker said, good morning, bros. Good morning. I feel going into the season with Declan Rice and Jorginho as only defensive midfielders might leave Arsenal short. That's why you have Jurrien Timbers. Okay, Jurrien Timbers is such an adaptive player. It's just like Man City last season. How many defensive midfielders did they go into the season with? At some point, it was just one. It was just Rodri. To be very honest, they didn't have another defensive midfielder. You can't tell me that Ike Gundogan was a defensive midfielder. Never be, will never be. Bernardo Silva is not a defensive midfielder. Kevin De Bruyne is not a defensive midfielder. But when push comes to shove, there were times where before John Stones came into that midfield, one of the best defender in the team that nobody's talking about, Manuel Akanji, stepped up. And then John Stones, all of a sudden, was a slow player, stepped into that position and did well. So I think that what Arsenal has done is, one, Jurrien Timbers is a player, is very good with the ball, but plays very well. It's the only deficiency is that his area prowess is very weak. His use of his body is good, his sprint is good, his passing range is excellent, and he can dribble. So that's the kind of player you can put in that position and he will still play well. So let's make a body count. There's Declan Rice. There is in that midfield, there's Declan Rice. There is Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is coming to take over for Granit Xhaka. He's a lightweight. That's my only fear for him. So you can push him over, but he knows how to use the ball very well. His feet is good, but please, nobody should say that he's Beckham. And then you have Declan Rice. You have Jorginho. You have Martin Odegaard up front. So I don't really think that we have only two players in that position. I would rather say we have three plus other flexible options that can go in there. So it's not much of a problem per se. What I worry about is if Arsenal could sell Balogun and Nketiah and bring in a battling ram up front, okay? So that some of those crosses that are always come into the area, somebody can give it a push. It will be fine. But if not, well, let's make use of what we have. I still think that Arsenal still need one more striker in that team. And I think that Arsenal, I don't think that Marquinhos is ready yet. He's going to be a good player for the future. I saw him at the Under-20 World Cup, scored one goal against Nigeria. But I still think that he's not there yet. He's not the guy who you will say, oh, he's going to come and take over. So I still think that Bukayo Saka needs a backup to make it on the left-hand side. I think that area is covered. You have Martinelli and you have Trossard, who did very good. Up front, that middle, I don't know why. I just don't count on Eddie Nketiah. My Ghanaian brothers and sisters, I'm sorry, but it's just what it is for me. But I don't think that Arsenal is short of bodies in that midfield. That's my opinion. You still not sold Granit Xhaka, you still not sold Thomas Partey, so all of those guys are there. Here's the Patrick say, boss, when your business becomes what you want it to be, you won't maintain the standard. Instead of saying there was a time you were not there and relax. I don't understand what you just said anyway. Those owners, they invest me, they buy business up and down. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying, but if you speak in English, in clear terms, I understand. I've seen English writing, but I don't have an understanding of what you're saying. Sexy Still, I see you, and a host of others. Quiet Storm say they've always lied to us. FSG promised to sell the team so as to reinforce the squad before the end of the World Cup. They did it. How are we top 3 in revenue made and they can't spend. Well, it's a private business, right? So try and understand that they also allow people to buy shares in this business. People like LeBron James, shareholders will get paid. That's not a conversation because you've used your money upfront to run your business. They will get paid. So you might be making this revenue and you're paying back where you collected money from to get to the point where you make this revenue. And some of the sales that you're talking about, okay, FSG promised to sell the club. Have you seen people put a bid for Liverpool? How many people? Again, Liverpool, in terms of stadium size, is a small club. Okay, some people want to buy a big club that is already there. That's why the Manchester United will always be an attractive proposition, right? Today, if you say the clubs in England up for sale, Tottenham Hotspur is a bigger proposition than even Liverpool. So those are some of the because anybody who buys a club now thinks, okay, I'm going to go spend some billions, hundreds of millions of pounds just to build a 60 or 80,000 capacity stadium. Please, I'm not interested in that. Okay, it takes a very high risk taker to do that. But Liverpool did not make top four last season, not because of FSG. They did not make top four last season because of injuries. If they had all their players fit, they would have done well. But yeah, they say Elneny, Partey, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Vieira, okay, those are players that are still in that midfield and they can play well. So I don't think that Arsenal is really short on bodies. I wouldn't be angry if they got a Fofana in as an extra. But again, don't forget that if you get too many bodies in and some are not playing, it becomes a problem. The real thing is because they're playing in the Champions League, you want to have people who can really jig, not people who will be at run and then they'll be standing because that would happen in the Champions League. It will happen on Wednesday or Tuesday night. When I go say Arsenal will be like team will be say small children when they carry come amusement park for the very first time. Okay. The last one say legendary Lampard. Now he be say Lampard get Hall of Fame and Hall of Shame with same team. Yes, he has become resident coach for Chelsea. Maybe they'll call again after sacking Poch. I don't think they'll sack Poch now. Poch would have this job for a while. The management seems to be like people who are patient and they'll give you time. So I don't think they'll sack him anytime soon. There's a particular fact that players are coming out to complain says it all. They know the club needs players. Club is the only reason we are where we are on the pitch. It's club not being paid by FSG. It's club. You know the way this mistake you're making is a mistake Arsenal fans made with Arsene Wenger over a period of time. I've been there. I'm going to beg you guys not to do this mistake. Again, you are a young Liverpool fan. If you're not a young Liverpool fan, you will know that Liverpool have been on this road before. This road that you are treading now, you Liverpool fans are treading. This is the road that Liverpool fans treaded from 1989 up until 2005, up until when Rafa Benitez came. You guys are treading that road again, where you compare unnecessarily and put yourself where you do not belong. Okay? Rafa Benitez, what's it called? Jurgen Klopp is not a volunteer coach. He is employed and paid well, handsomely. He's one of the highest paid coaches in the world today. It's FSG that's paying him. So don't sit where you are and blame FSG without realizing that you have a player in your team that earns £350,000 a week. You have a pool of strikers that almost every other team in the Premier League would die for. Tell me one team that have a pool of strikers more than Liverpool. The fact that they are not able to stay, you guys have Mo Salah, Diego Jota, Darwin Núñez that you bought for 80-something million. You say FSG they spend money. Now your papa money they take that one. Then you have the other guy that they brought in before. I forgot his name now. Diego Jota, Salah, Diego Jota, Darwin Núñez. One other player is there. Name another team in England that have that pool of players up front alone. Okay, you have a problem with your midfield. They are doing adjustment. Whatever your club is doing is what is paid to do. It's what it's paid to do. So let's not pretend like, oh, he's doing something. That's why people lied everywhere. As a Veiga built a stadium for us, I was like, what? When I get sense at all. And I saw grown, educated people saying it everywhere. As a Veiga built a stadium for us, I was like, I don't understand. They borrow the stadium, borrow money with as a Veiga as a collateral. Somebody that can sleep and die and not wake up is a collateral. Which bank will even do that? Well, we're not talking about Arsenal. Yes, Dias. They have Salah, Jota, Dias. You just lost Firmino now. You have Núñez, and you have all these players in your team. And then there are other fringe players that can fit in. And then you're telling me, and they've signed about two players in that midfield that you're complaining about. So what really do you really want? Arsenal does not have that pool. Man City, as great as they are, have only 2 strikers. Then you have Fifodi to it, who is both a striker and a midfielder, and is an homegrown talent. Okay, so if they're not side players, you are the club, you don't have to take player from your youth team. Liverpool not get youth team. That be youth team Owen from Cup. That be youth team some of the great players from Cup. Why is he not bringing players to fill the void from his youth team? I did that part of the structure of the club too. So if you blame FSG too, you still look at your coach and say, Coachella, you get some things where you never do well. Okay, let's get back. Even Harvard go they say Kai for people where they compare him to Dennis. But I tell you, as a Patrick, he say, I see your tweet about Arsenal and Osimhen. I just like that's a joke. That's me joking. I created that picture myself, and I don't have the right to joke again. Emmanuel Rokiri says, not comparing, you want Ava to arrest me for comparing him to the great Dennis. I just say he gets that trace. I hear you, Tracer, Trace TV. Well done. And I want to say, I'm sorry, I'm not Harvard fan at all. I just hope I don't obtain PhD for him. You go get him. Here's a Patrick said, we are not even complaining about top 4. We just let 7 players go this season. The team needs addition. If Gerard was our coach, what would happen? Now relegation. As a Patrick Bros say, now French players that can fit in, but in no want Balogo and Nketiah because we're on the rise. If we had won Champions League and won the league title in the last 5 years, I played the final of Champions League twice. I go even say no sign. Right now, I go there against the signing of Declan Rice. Like, I mean, what's the use? Let's build our players now. We can afford 2-3 seasons of that. But we've not been up there for forever. We've not even played in the Champions League for 7 seasons. So right now we need to. We've done this place where they say one and this. So and again, the position that Liverpool is on, they're not in the top 4. They're not playing Champions League. How many players do you really think want to come to Liverpool? Unless you spend recklessly, convince them with money, they will not come. How many players want to come? So think about it. So that's something you must also put. They also have Cody Gakpo. Don't forget. They have Gakpo, Ajekpo. You don't forget son again Gakpo for that team. So you have Salah, Diaz, Nunez, Gakpo. What's the other one again that I mentioned before? 5 top forward when I get for Liverpool and they complain. The turn that we go fire on them. Even Madrid don't go up to 5. Paris Saint-Germain with all their plenty money don't get. Man City don't get. Man United where they crazy, they don't get sense. They don't get up to that. Name one team where get strike and reach Liverpool for the whole European football. So what are you people really complaining about? Say? They have Diaz, they have Gakpo, they have Salah, they have that with Nunez, the guy who they spent over 80 million on, and then they have Jota. And then you are here telling me wanting to do 3. Come, can't get any foul. Can't you go? Sure. That's been warning yourself now. Take your Jota and begin to jot on the notepad. We'll know where we stand. Well, guys, I need to pack and leave now. It's 10:18. It's about time to leave. Let me prepare for New Central. I don't know how that's going to go anyway. But I know we're going to talk about the coach of the Falcons. I definitely know that's what the conversation will be around. Okay. There's a whole lot. A lot of message on WhatsApp. I don't get anything to respond to now. I beg. Time don't pass. Time, it don't pass. I know quick soon a message. Let's leave it like that. Yeah. Guys, let's do this again on Monday. Thank you very much to Joy Bassi. Thank you very much to everybody who's joining. Please, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly tell me why you are not subscribing to our channel. What do we do you? Whatever you need us to do, we'll do. But don't ask me for 250,000. I know give. If that one, not just subscribe. But if you're not subscribed to this channel, on our YouTube channel, what do we do you? The work we do so you don't like the work we are doing in the MPFL, the show that we do every day, and all the other interviews that we bring, are they not good enough? We'll go interview God first before I go subscribe. We'll go interview Jesus, say Jesus when they go blow the trumpet first before I subscribe. I be you want more? Okay, don't worry. I'll go like 20 people below. When the scanner comes, I'll subscribe to the channel. No, I won't do that. That's not a good thing right now. That's not a good thing right now. Not the video. I don't have 30 billion. I still drive one old Honda City. No, but nobody can pull left for me. So they don't say this one upcoming. That's when they suffer. But I beg now. I not say when I think say I don't have, but the truth is I never have. If I subscribe, it could give me hope to the call work every day. You know how when I tell me say make I do evening show for diaspora people, I'll do evening show only 5 people. You know, so I stop. I think that's one they stop this to go to go carry pump go they go do bus conductor. I think I'll go buy one bus now, they do bus transport because now you know say fuel don't go up over bus transport people they make more money. I remember when I subscribe, and the more I don't see me for a bus stop. See I go to bus driver. After when they sacked me for umbrella, I almost go start to buy work. I was just almost about registering when they could take my car from me. So I beg, and I beg now. Subscribe to the channel. Beg your friends too to subscribe to the channel. It's not good as with a banter for the comment section as with plenty. But we want more now. Remember when first started 2 hours, only 2 people with the view. I mean, then they sweet. I beg. And some of them said I will make friends. I beg. When I subscribe, I beg and I beg now. I beg now. But now let me go do the video 2.0 or chapter 4. I'll go impregnate like 40 women. That time I will talk about me well. I will call the comment section, call gossip me. Even Joy Bassey will call use my story for the Gen Z section. Anyhow, my name still remains Fabrizio Romano. You love to come in and look at one of sports. God bless you. And let's do this again on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye. I saw Muslim people not to give me salami too.
The Pathfinder for Radio. My name is Frank Idindia Alapa. That's my name. Talking sports, my game. And
I single-handedly ruining Chelsea.
I love listening to
lose competition amongst the staff and the heart. I'm never going to go to the bridge again while he is there, says Andy in Folkestone.